If you don't build yourself daily, the world will build against you. That's the brutal truth most people avoid. They wait for the right time, the right push, the perfect spark of motivation. But winners don't wait. They build every single day. This audiobook is not just advice, it's a roadmap. In the next 10 chapters, you'll learn the 10 habits that winners practice daily. These are not tricks. They're not motivational fluff. They are disciplines that will sharpen your mind, strengthen your will, and expand your future. In this audiobook, you will discover how winners start their mornings with power, how they manage distractions in a noisy digital world, how they turn setbacks into momentum, and how they hold themselves accountable when no one else is watching. 10 daily habits, 10 undeniable disciplines, and one truth: success is never owned. It is rented, and the rent is due every single day. Here's the punchline you need to carry with you. An hour is a mirror. Show me your hours, and I'll show you your destiny. Stay with me, because by the end of this audiobook, you won't just know what winners do every day. You'll be practicing it, and your life will never move the same way again. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Win the first battle. No snooze, no excuses. The alarm rings. Most people groan, roll over, and press snooze. But winners? They rise. Not because they feel like it, but because they trained themselves to lead, starting with the very first battle of the day. Think of that alarm as life's first test. Will you choose comfort, or will you choose commitment? Every time you snooze, you're telling your mind that dreams can wait. And every time you rise, you tell your mind that discipline comes first. In Tokyo, I met a young coder named Satoshi. He wasn't the most talented in his startup team, but he was the most disciplined. While others hit snooze, he trained himself to wake up at 4:30 every morning. He used those hours to study AI frameworks long before they became mainstream. Today, he leads a company building software that Fortune 500 giants rely on. His edge wasn't luck. It was the first hour of the day, won consistently. Here's the truth. Success doesn't come from grand decisions. It comes from tiny ones, repeated daily. Getting out of bed when your alarm rings seems small, but it builds a reputation with yourself. My word means something. I do what I said I'd do. Ask yourself, are you negotiating with laziness before the sun even rises? Winners don't negotiate with snooze buttons. They win the first battle, because how you start often decides how you finish. So tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, remember this. It's not just a sound. It's your future calling. Answer it. If you can't win against a snooze button, how will you win against life's storms? And if you think that's powerful, wait until you hear what winners do next. Chapter 2. Guard your mind before the world invades. The world doesn't just wake you up, it invades you. Before you've brushed your teeth, you're bombarded with notifications, breaking news, messages, and endless scrolls. Most people reach for their phone first thing. Winners don't. Winners understand that the first thoughts you feed your mind will shape the next 12 hours. They don't hand that power over to social media. They take control. A woman I once met in Lagos, Nigeria, taught me this lesson. Her name was Amaka. A single mother running a tailoring shop while raising 3 children. She told me, if I touch my phone before I touch my thoughts, I lose my day. So every morning, she sat quietly for 10 minutes before opening her shop, visualizing the orders she would complete, praying for her children, and deciding her tone for the day. That small ritual gave her a calm energy that carried into her business. Within 5 years, she expanded from one sewing machine to an entire factory, employing dozens of women in her community. That is the power of guarding your mind. You don't need an hour of meditation. You need clarity before the noise finds you. Winners decide their direction before the world decides it for them. Think about it. Most people wake up reactive. They see a message and instantly give their energy away. But winners wake up intentional. They set the tone, then face the world on their terms. Here's your challenge. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, give yourself 10 minutes. Breathe. Visualize your day. Decide one principle you will not compromise, no matter what distractions come. That's how you train your mind to lead instead of follow. The first voice you hear each morning should be your own, not the world's. But we're only getting started. If you thought morning set the stage, wait until we step into the next habit, the one that separates those who dream from those who actually build. Chapter 3. Move your body. Move your mind. Energy is the currency of winners. Without it, your vision fades, your discipline weakens, and your ambition stalls. And here's the reality most people don't want to face. Your body is the engine of your future. If you neglect it, you sabotage everything else. Winners know this. That's why they don't wait for a perfect workout plan or a trendy gym membership. They move every single day. In Sao Paulo, Brazil, I met a young architect named Felipe. He worked brutal hours, often pulling all-nighters to meet deadlines. At first, his health was collapsing. Fast food, no exercise, endless coffee. His creativity started to fade, his mood tanked, and his deadlines slipped. One day, he made a change. He committed to just 20 minutes of movement each morning, push-ups in his apartment, running the stairs. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. Within months, he was sharper at work, more confident in meetings, and his designs started winning competitions. His success wasn't in his sketches, it was in his sweat. Science backs this up. Moving your body increases blood flow to your brain, releases chemicals that fight stress, and builds resilience. It's not about looking good on Instagram. It's about feeling unstoppable when life pressures you. Ask yourself, how often do you let excuses steal your energy? I don't have time. I don't feel like it. I'll start Monday. Winners know there is no perfect day. The perfect day is today. Here's your challenge. Start simple. 10 push-ups before your shower. A walk instead of scrolling. Stretching before bed instead of one more show. The form doesn't matter. The movement does. Because every drop of sweat is a deposit into your future energy. Your body is not separate from your success. It is the foundation of it. And once your body is charged, the next step is equally critical. Sharpening your focus when the world keeps trying to scatter it. Chapter 4. Build focus in a distracted world. Focus is the new superpower. In 2025, attention is the rarest resource. Every app, every notification, every platform is fighting to steal it from you. And most people, they give it away for free. Winners don't. Winners treat focus like gold. Let me take you to Nairobi, Kenya. A young developer named Aisha had a dream of creating educational apps for rural children. But every time she sat to code, her phone buzzed, her friends messaged, and her day evaporated. She was brilliant, but scattered. So she created what she called focus zones. 2 hours every morning with no phone, no noise, no interruptions. Just her laptop and her goal. That small change turned chaos into clarity. Within 2 years, her app was reaching schools across East Africa. This is the difference. Most people try to chase goals with split attention. Winners eliminate what doesn't matter. They protect their focus like it's life support, because it is. Think about your own day. How much of it leaks away in small distractions? 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It feels harmless, but it compounds into wasted years. Every scroll, every notification, every meaningless debate is a withdrawal from your future. Here's your challenge. Create your own focus zone. Block at least 1 hour a day where nothing interrupts you. Turn off your phone. Close your tabs. Guard that hour like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Winners know this secret. When you can give the world your full attention, the world eventually pays full attention to you. Distraction is the enemy of destiny. Focus is how you fight back. And here's the cliffhanger. If you think focus is powerful, wait until we dive into the next winner's habit. Because winners don't just guard their attention. They master the single most important contract a human can make, the one with themselves. Before we continue, pause for a moment. If this audiobook is already shifting something inside you, don't just listen, act. Hit like right now. Think of it as a contract with yourself, a promise that you're not here just to be inspired, but to commit. Then go to the comments and declare it. Tell me, which habit will you start practicing tomorrow? Is it winning your morning? Is it moving your body? Is it guarding your focus? Speak it out. Declaring it makes it real. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is your moment. Subscribe not for me, but for yourself. Because every new audiobook that drops is another tool to keep you consistent, accountable, and building daily. And one more thing. If you know someone drowning in distraction, send this to them. Don't keep it to yourself. Share the habits that could change their path. Chapter 5. Keep promises to yourself. Most people break promises to themselves without even noticing. They say they'll start tomorrow. They say they'll finish by Friday. They say they'll quit the bad habit. And then they don't. Here's the truth. The fastest way to destroy self-confidence is to become someone you cannot trust. If you don't trust yourself, how can you expect the world to trust you? Winners understand this. They treat their word as sacred, especially the word they give themselves. When they say, "I will do it," it's not a wish, it's a contract. And contracts are not broken. Let me tell you about Rajiv, an engineer in Mumbai. For years, he struggled with procrastination. Every night, he promised himself he'd study for the promotions exam tomorrow. Tomorrow always turned into next week. Until one day, he made a simple rule: never break a promise to myself. If I say I'll study for 30 minutes, I study, even if I'm tired, even if I don't feel like it. Within 8 months, he passed the exam, secured the promotion, and doubled his income. Not because he suddenly became smarter, but because he became trustworthy to himself. Keeping promises to yourself builds internal credibility. It rewires your brain to see yourself as capable, reliable, unstoppable. Each small promise kept adds a brick to your confidence, and each broken promise chips away at it. Ask yourself, how many times have you said, "I'll wake up early, I'll start eating better, I'll work on my business idea," only to betray your own word? Every betrayal makes your future harder, but every kept promise makes your future stronger. Here's your challenge. This week, make one small promise to yourself, and keep it no matter what. It doesn't need to be grand. Read 10 pages a day. Drink an extra glass of water. Write 200 words. What matters is not the size, it's the consistency. Because once you train yourself to trust yourself, your confidence stops depending on motivation. It starts depending on proof. The most important contract you will ever sign is with yourself, and breaking it is the fastest way to fail. But what happens after you keep those promises? The next habit takes it further. Winners don't just keep promises. They actively learn daily so that their future self is wiser than their past self. Chapter 6. Learn relentlessly. Even when others stop. The world is moving fast. Technology, industries, opportunities, everything is evolving daily. And here's the reality. If you stop learning, you stop growing. Winners know this, and that's why they make learning a daily ritual, not a once-in-a-while hobby. It doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes or 5 hours. Winners feed their mind every day. In Berlin, I met Elena, a young nurse. Her job was demanding, often leaving her exhausted. Most of her colleagues use their downtime to scroll or binge shows. Elena chose something different. She committed to listening to one audiobook a week on medicine, psychology, or leadership. Within 3 years, she wasn't just a nurse. She was leading workshops, training staff, and influencing hospital policy. Her edge came not from seniority, but from consistent learning. Daily learning is the fuel that keeps you ahead. You don't need a degree every year. You need the humility to stay a student. Think of it this way. Every new skill, every new insight, every new perspective you gain adds another tool to your toolbox. Winners are not the ones with the biggest toolbox at the start. They are the ones who add to it, piece by piece, day after day. Ask yourself, when was the last time you deliberately learned something new? Not scrolling headlines, not shallow content, real learning, something that stretched your mind. Here's your challenge. Dedicate at least 20 minutes every day to deliberate learning. Read a book, watch a lecture, listen to a podcast, take notes. Apply one insight immediately. Do this daily, and you'll separate yourself from the majority who stopped learning the day they left school. And here's the deeper truth. In 2025, the winners are not just workers, they're learners. The ones who adapt fastest to change, the ones who sharpen their minds daily, the ones who stay ahead while others cling to the past. The day you stop learning is the day you stop leading. But there's a twist, because learning alone isn't enough. Winners know that knowledge without action is just theory. That's why the next habit takes us into something far more dangerous and far more powerful. The way winners face discomfort. Transition. Cliffhanger. We've seen how winners rise with discipline, protect their focus, move their bodies, and feed their minds. But what happens when the road gets hard? When growth demands discomfort? That's where most people stop. But winners don't. They lean in. In the next chapter, you'll learn how winners build resilience by embracing discomfort, not avoiding it. This is where the separation becomes undeniable. Stay with me, because Chapter 7 may be the most important habit of them all. Chapter 7. Embrace discomfort, like a training ground. Most people run from discomfort. They hide from it, avoid it, or distract themselves until it passes. But winners, they see discomfort as a gym for the mind and spirit. Every rep of discomfort builds resilience. Every moment of unease sharpens discipline. Think about it. Comfort never built anyone stronger. Comfort is easy, but it weakens you slowly silently. Discomfort is hard, but it forges you into someone unstoppable. Let me take you to Toronto. A man named Michael, a refugee who arrived with nothing but a backpack, worked 2 jobs to survive. At night, when he should have rested, he taught himself coding. He described those nights as torture, exhaustion, doubt, loneliness, but he leaned into it. Within 5 years, he built his own digital consultancy. He told me something unforgettable. Discomfort was my classroom. It hurt, but it taught me how to win. Winners reframe discomfort. They don't see it as punishment. They see it as preparation. Cold showers, hard workouts, extra hours of practice, speaking when nervous, sacrificing entertainment for study. Each act of discomfort stretches the boundary of what you think you can handle. And here's the secret. Once your brain learns that discomfort won't break you, you stop fearing it. You begin to crave it, because you know on the other side of discomfort lies strength. Ask yourself, how much of your life is designed around avoiding discomfort? The soft bed, the endless scrolling, the constant snacking, the hesitation before risk. If comfort is your default, stagnation is your destiny. Here's your challenge. Every day, choose one act of deliberate discomfort. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Speak up in the meeting. Run an extra mile. Put your phone away for 3 hours. Each choice is training. Each rep builds resilience. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your coach. But there's more. Because once you embrace discomfort, you unlock something even more powerful. The ability to transform setbacks into fuel. Chapter 8. Turn setbacks into setups. Failure breaks most people, but winners, they turn failure into fire. They understand that setbacks are not dead ends. They are redirections, setups for comebacks. Take the story of Layla, a young entrepreneur in Dubai. She invested her savings into a boutique clothing brand. After 6 months, the store collapsed under competition. Most people would have quit, but Layla didn't. She studied why she failed, pivoted into online sales, and used the lessons from her first failure as a playbook for her next venture. Today, her e-commerce store ships worldwide. When I asked her about the collapse, she smiled and said, "It wasn't the end. It was the beginning I didn't know I needed." This is the winner's mindset. They don't waste failures by complaining. They mine them for lessons. They ask, what did this teach me? How can I come back stronger? The truth is, you cannot live a life worth telling without failure. Every successful athlete, every respected leader, every innovator carries scars from mistakes. But here's the difference. Losers see failure as proof they can't win. Winners see failure as feedback that guides them to victory. Think about your own life. How many times have you quit after the first setback? A project that didn't work, a relationship that ended, a goal that stalled. Each time you quit, you told your brain, failure means stop. Winners tell their brain something different. Failure means learn. Here's your challenge. Next time you face a setback, instead of asking, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Write down the lesson. Apply it immediately. Because every setback carries seeds of wisdom that comfort can never teach you. And here's the hidden gift. When you learn to see setbacks as setups, you become unstoppable. Life can push you, but it cannot break you, because everything thrown at you becomes fuel. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the instruction manual for it. If you're still here, Listening closely, it means you're different. You're not just chasing hype. You're building yourself daily. And if that's you, let's solidify it. Hit like right now. Not for me, but as a contract with yourself. Every like is a signature. I am committing to growth. Comment below. What was your biggest setback, and what lesson did it teach you? Share it publicly, because when you put your lesson into words, you lock it into your life. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time. Subscribe to join a movement of people who build daily, who refuse to stagnate, who turn discomfort and setbacks into strength. And one last thing, don't keep this to yourself. Share this with someone going through a tough season. It might be the seed that helps them turn their storm into strength. Transition, cliffhanger. We've seen how winners embrace discomfort and turn setbacks into setups, but the journey doesn't stop here, because the final two habits are about impact. How winners not only build themselves, but also build the world around them. In the next chapters, you'll discover how winners create discipline through service and how they multiply their success by holding themselves accountable daily. These final two will seal everything we've built together. Stay with me, because the last stretch is where everything comes full circle. Chapter 9. Serve others to strengthen yourself. Most people chase success for themselves alone. They think winning means climbing higher while everyone else watches. But winners know a deeper truth. Real growth happens when you serve. Service doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean sacrificing your dreams. It means aligning your strength with a greater purpose. When you lift others, you lift yourself higher. I once met Samuel, a teacher in rural Ghana. He could have left his village for a better paying job in the city, but he stayed. Why? Because he believed his purpose was to raise the next generation. He taught in classrooms with broken desks, no electricity, and outdated books. Every evening, he spent his own money buying chalk and candles so his students could learn after dark. Years later, one of those students became the first in the region to earn a scholarship to study abroad. That student came back, opened a tech hub, and transformed the local economy. Samuel's quiet service became the spark for an entire community. Winners understand this. Serving others gives meaning to your struggle. It turns discipline into impact. It transforms routine into legacy. Think about your own life. How often do you see growth as something only for yourself? How often do you forget that your strength can help someone else rise? Here's your challenge. Every day serve in one small way. Mentor a colleague. Share knowledge freely. Encourage someone struggling. Give time, not just money, because service expands your vision. It reminds you that your journey is not just about you. And here's the paradox. When you serve, you don't get weaker, you get stronger, because you build empathy, you deepen resilience, and you attract opportunities that pure selfishness never finds. The highest form of winning is lifting others as you climb. But service alone isn't enough. Winners also understand this. Without accountability, even the strongest intentions collapse. And that leads us into the final habit, the one that ties every chapter together. Chapter 10. Hold yourself accountable. Daily accountability is the bridge between intention and reality. Without it, goals drift into wishes. With it, you become unstoppable. Winners don't rely on external reminders. They build systems that hold them accountable when no one is watching. Take May, an entrepreneur in Singapore. She wanted to launch her startup, but distractions and doubt slowed her down. So she created what she called the mirror test. Every night, she looked into the mirror and asked herself, did I win today, or did I waste it? If the answer was waste, she adjusted immediately. That small ritual kept her honest. Within a year, her startup secured funding, not because she was the smartest in the room, but because she held herself accountable when no one else demanded it. This is the secret. Accountability is not punishment. It is power. It is how winners prevent drift. It is how they stay consistent when motivation fades. Ask yourself, what system do you have for accountability? Do you track your habits? Do you journal your progress? Do you measure your wins and losses honestly? Or do you simply hope things will improve? Here's your challenge. Build one daily accountability system. It could be writing down 3 wins and 3 losses every night. It could be telling a friend your weekly goals. It could be setting alarms for non-negotiable habits. Whatever you choose, make it real, make it measurable, and make it daily. Because without accountability, you're gambling your growth on luck. With accountability, you're engineering it with discipline. Discipline builds momentum, but accountability locks it in place. And here we are. 10 habits. 10 daily disciplines that winners practice to build themselves every single day. 1. Win the first battle. No snooze, no excuses. 2. Guard your mind before the world invades. 3. Move your body, move your mind. 4. Build focus in a distracted world. 5. Keep promises to yourself. 6. Learn relentlessly, even when others stop. 7. Embrace discomfort like a training ground. 8. Turn setbacks into setups. 9. Serve others to strengthen yourself. 10. Hold yourself accountable daily. These are not just tips. They are a framework, a roadmap, a way of life. And now the question is not whether you know them, it's whether you will live them. Because here's the truth. Knowing changes nothing. Doing changes everything. So let me leave you with this. An hour is a mirror, a day is a blueprint, and a life is the sum of the habits you build every single day. The fire that never sleeps. If you're still here, still listening, it means something inside you is alive, a spark. Maybe it's small. Maybe it's been buried under years of doubt, of distraction, of delay, but it's there. And right now, that spark is asking you one question. What will you do with the rest of your time? Because time is the only thing you never get back. Money lost can be rebuilt. Opportunities missed can return. But time, once it leaves, it doesn't visit again. And the truth is brutal. The difference between those who build a life of meaning and those who live in regret comes down to how they treat their days. Most people drift. They waste hours waiting for motivation, scrolling through lives that aren't theirs, distracting themselves into invisibility. They say, someday I'll change. But someday is a lie. Someday never arrives. Only today is real. And winners know this. That's why they live differently. They understand that success is not one massive leap. It is thousands of steps, thousands of hours, stacked until momentum carries them forward. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create progress in imperfect ones. They don't need applause. They don't need permission. They don't need luck. They need discipline, vision, and time. Time invested, not wasted. Think about your own life. Where have you been waiting? What dreams have you delayed, convincing yourself that the right moment hasn't arrived? The right moment doesn't exist. The only moment that matters is the one you hold right now. Let me tell you a story. Years ago in Cape Town, South Africa, I met a man named David. He was in his 60s, working as a janitor in a university. On paper, his life looked ordinary. But when you spoke to him, you realized his story was extraordinary. At 45, he had been broke, jobless, and deeply ashamed of how much time he had wasted. Instead of quitting on life, he decided on something radical. Every single day he would improve one thing about himself. One thing. Reading one page. Practicing one new skill. Talking to one new person. He stacked days, then months, then years. By his 60s, he spoke 5 languages fluently, mentored dozens of students who passed through the university, and had built a family legacy of discipline and resilience. He told me, "I was once invisible, but daily work turned me into someone my younger self wouldn't even recognize." That's the power of consistent self-building, not dramatic events, not sudden breakthroughs, but slow, relentless, unshakable progress. And here's the truth. Life doesn't reward the loudest. It rewards the most consistent. Drops of water carve stone, not because of force, but because of persistence. But persistence only comes when you decide that every day matters, that no hour is too small, that your life is not a rehearsal. This is it. This is the only chance you get to live fully, to give fully, to rise fully. Ask yourself, when you're 80 years old looking back, will you be proud of how you spent your days? Or will you wish you had treated them as sacred? Because here's the thing. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to start. Start today. Start with one decision that proves you're serious. Maybe it's turning off your phone for an hour. Maybe it's writing your goals down with brutal honesty. Maybe it's walking instead of scrolling. Small choices, stacked daily, become revolutions over time. And let me say this clearly. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to drag you to your goals. That's not depressing. It's empowering. Because if it's in your hands, then you have the power to change it. The steering wheel of your life is not broken. It's been waiting for you to grab it. Winners don't have more hours in a day. They just use them differently. They trade excuses for effort. They trade noise for clarity. They trade comfort for growth. And when they look back, they don't see perfection. They see progress. And progress is enough. Progress creates power. The question is, will you choose it? Because here's what I know. Your potential is not gone. It's not too late. You're not too far behind. You are one decision away from a new trajectory, a decision to build, a decision to rise, a decision to stop wasting days and start owning them. Picture yourself 1 year from now. You stayed disciplined, you stayed consistent, you faced discomfort, you built yourself daily. Who would you be? Stronger, sharper, more resilient, more confident, the kind of person who commands respect, not by demanding it, but by embodying it. The kind of person who walks into a room and people feel it. That person is inside you already, waiting for you to build them brick by brick. So here's my challenge to you. Don't let this be just another motivational moment you forget tomorrow. Let this be your turning point. Let this be the day you stopped waiting and started building. Because in the end, your life will not be measured by your intentions. It will be measured by your habits. Not what you hope to do, but what you did daily. Time is passing. The fire is calling. And the choice is yours. An ordinary day treated with extraordinary discipline. becomes the building block of an extraordinary life. If you want to build yourself into someone unrecognizable from the person you are today, it won't come from waiting. It won't come from wishing. It will come from building, habit by habit, day by day. Now, if this audiobook challenged you, if it woke something up inside you, don't let it fade. Act, hit like right now, not as a casual click, but as a signature, a contract with yourself that you will not go back to sleepwalking through your days. Comment below and declare it. Which of these 10 habits will you practice starting tomorrow? Say it publicly, because declaring is the first step toward becoming. Subscribe, not for me, but for yourself. Subscribe to join a movement of people who refuse to wait, who refuse to drift, who build themselves every single day, and share this with someone you care about, someone who's stuck, someone who's distracted, someone who needs this as much as you did. Because sometimes one message at the right time can change a life. Disclaimer: this audiobook is educational and motivational in nature. It is not financial, medical, or legal advice. Every decision you make is your responsibility. Use these principles as tools to guide your growth, but always apply wisdom and discernment to your own situation. Success is not an event, it is a rhythm. Build yourself every day, and one day the world will no longer recognize you.